From the moment I became a mother, I knew it was the most important and fulfilling role of my life. My husband and I have two wonderful children, a son and a daughter who bring us endless joy. Our family felt complete, but deep down, I always felt that there was room for one more. We decided to adopt, and after a long and emotional process, we welcomed a beautiful baby girl into our family. We were overjoyed and felt incredibly blessed. Our adopted daughter was a sweet, loving child. She bonded well with her siblings, and our family felt complete. We made sure she knew from a young age that she was adopted, and we always emphasized that she was just as much a part of our family as her brother and sister. We wanted her to feel loved and secure, and for many years she did. However, things began to change as she entered puberty. The teenage years are challenging for any parent, but they seemed especially difficult with our adopted daughter. She started to push boundaries, test limits, and question everything. This is normal teenage behavior, but whenever I tried to discipline her or enforce rules, she would lash out and say, "It's because I'm not your own child." These words cut deep. I love her just as much as my biological children, but her accusations made me feel like a failure as a mother. She seemed to believe that my strictness was rooted in the fact that she was adopted, and no matter how much I tried to reassure her, she didn't believe me. This created a tense and strained atmosphere in our home. Her behavior began to influence her siblings as well. They started to question my decisions and whether I was being fair. They saw their sister's pain and confusion and didn't know how to process it. Our once harmonious family life was filled with tension and misunderstandings. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, afraid to say or do anything that might be interpreted as favoritism or unfairness. I tried different approaches. I sought advice from other parents, read books on parenting adopted children, and even went to family counseling. While these efforts helped to some extent, the core issue remained. My daughter felt different, and she believed that my strictness was proof that I loved her less. It was heartbreaking and frustrating because nothing could be further from the truth. One particularly difficult night, after a heated argument about her curfew, she screamed at me, "You're not my real mother." Her words stung, and I felt tears welling up in my eyes. I wanted to yell back, to tell her how much I loved her and how much those words hurt. But I knew that would only make things worse. Instead, I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. I told her that I loved her and that I was her real mother, no matter what. But I could see the doubt in her eyes, and it broke my heart. I felt torn. On one hand, I wanted to be firm and consistent with my rules, just as I was with my biological children. On the other hand, I wanted to be sensitive to her feelings and the unique challenges she faced as an adopted child. It was a delicate balance, and I often felt like I was failing at both. Her behavior continued to affect our family dynamic. Her siblings started to act out as well, mimicking her defiance and testing our limits. My husband and I were exhausted and at our wits' end. We had many late-night discussions about what to do, but we often felt just as confused and helpless as when we started. I decided to reach out to a support group for adoptive parents. Sharing my struggles with others who had been through similar experiences was a relief. They offered advice and shared their own stories of difficulty and triumph. I learned that our situation was not unique, and that many adoptive parents faced similar challenges during their children's teenage years. One piece of advice that stood out was to ensure that my daughter felt heard and validated, even when I disagreed with her behavior. I started to make a conscious effort to listen more and talk less. When she would lash out, I tried to understand the pain and confusion behind her words, instead of just reacting to the surface behavior. It wasn't easy, and it didn't solve all our problems, but it was a start. Despite these efforts, the road ahead is still uncertain. There are good days and bad days, moments of connection and moments of conflict. I still struggle with knowing when to be strict and when to be lenient. how to be fair to all my children, and how to help my daughter feel secure in our family. Have any of you faced similar challenges with your adopted children or in blended families? How did you navigate the delicate balance of discipline and sensitivity? What strategies worked for you? I would love to hear your stories and any advice you might have for someone in my situation.